Yo, how are we doing, YouTube? Should maybe tidy up. That's the garage. I wouldn't even call it a garage gym at this point. I would call it a garage that has gym stuff in it. My wife is constantly reminding me that I should maybe make it look bougie as hell, but I kind of like the fact it's rough around the edges. It's the first draft. Anyway, today is the start of my training series, kind of inspired by a chap called Sam Sulik on YouTube. Seen his videos and thought, why don't I just do some raw video training footage? Whether or not people are going to really give a damn, I don't care. I'm going to start vlogging my training. I'm calling it training to go Super Saiyan because at 16, when I started lifting, that is kind of the goal. Like I just wanted to look like a Super Saiyan. I even sporting the Freezer t-shirts, love Dragon Ball Z, much like anyone who was born in the 90s. So today we are going to be training the old leg cannons, a little bit of shoulders as well because it's just the way it fits in my program, and the medial delts you can just never have too much. Right now I am the lightest weight that I have been this year, lost like 33 pounds. I'm in a cutting phase, so strength is not in a good spot. But yeah, we'll get back to that. Got a holiday to Greece in 3 weeks now, and want to be nice and lean for that. And then when I get back, I will start going into a muscle building phase again and chasing after some strength goals. But let's get cracking. First video, I don't really know what to chat about, but let's do it. Calves first. So set them up here. This is my setup for the old calves. Couple of plates, a little piece of carpet because everyone likes a bit of comfort, and then getting up here, get a good stretch, driving up. Now I have got definitely maybe not the worst calf genetics in the world, but they're definitely down there. So yeah, training calves at the start makes me actually train them and put some work into them. Otherwise they just become an afterthought, a throwaway at the end. When I first trained calves, like a lot of people, it would be trying to just lift as much weight as possible on them and doing sets of 5 to 10. Over time I've realised that actually body weight is pretty much enough if you do them properly. Single leg and get a nice deep stretch in the bottom position. But we'll start warming up here and I might add some load today. We'll see how they feel. I think that's 10. That's the only problem. Doing these videos, I ain't going to be getting reps very well. So, big stretch at the bottom. Why? Because otherwise, you're just going to get that stretch reflex. And you're not really going to be working the muscle. You're just going to be stretching and contracting those tendons, the Achilles tendon at the back, which obviously is great for explosivity and jumping, but it's not so much if you want to build your calves. I basically got started in training. Yeah, I think my dad took me to the gym. I think it was Irvine. And no, in fact, it goes back. It was Fitness First in Kilmarnock. I'm pretty sure I get chucked out because at the time you weren't allowed to lift weights. Yeah, because I was under 16. I must have been 14 or 15. And then we got kicked out because I was too young to be lifting weights. And that's kind of why I wanted. My dad certainly wanted me to be there, to be his training buddy, to be his spotter, and to get him trained myself. And then after that, I think it was the Muscle Factory or something like that in Irvine. And yeah, my dad was a typical bro, so it was just chest and arms. That was it. I don't even know if there was any shoulders. Maybe like some shoulder pressing, but yeah, pretty much chest and arms. I wish, if I could go back, that I spent a bit more time on the old legs, because being as tall as I am, and I'm not just tall, but most of my body is made up of leg, I need to have ridiculously big legs for my physique to look balanced, or for it just to look like I actually have a set of legs. And deadlifts, and train your calves. If you've got shit calves, it just doesn't look good if you don't have good calves, I don't think, So, set number 2, I think I'm going to add some weight. Let's go with the kettlebell. We'll use this one that I made earlier. So, same position. And when I'm doing these, like, I'm kind of leaning forward over here, but I'm trying not to put my weight here. I'm trying just to kind of keep a balance, because what you find is if you try and do a single leg calf raise without holding on, you just go to shit because the stability requirements are too much. So just fingertips on something to get the balance, and then drive up, good squeeze at the top, and spend some time in the stretch position at the bottom. I wouldn't even pick these up because I'd be too embarrassed. But yeah, things change once you start realizing that it's not really about the weight that you're lifting, it's about the tension that you're applying to the muscles. So let's get after these. I'm going to go all the way to 20 on these just to get started. Three. Okay. Yeah, that's working. Let's go up to the 4 kettlebells. I think it's awkward with the home gym setup and the fact that it's a bit of a redneck setup, as it goes sort of 3s to 4 kettlebells, and I think I've got some 8s somewhere, then we go straight to 15s on the dumbbells, which means that there isn't really sort of 10 to sweat 12 spot. So I either find I have to use light weights, good form, lots of reps, or I have to get a little bit looser on the form. So what I tend to do with medial delts is just kind of do a blend and just work my way through those weights with different reps. And yeah, just get some work done on the old medial delts. So let's go for the 4s. The thing that makes the kettlebell a little bit trickier is you can keep them here, palms down, and you kind of got the leverage of it working a little bit shorter, or you can kind of hold them and try to keep them all the way out, which is what I'm going to opt for because it's a little bit more difficult. But with medial delt work, you see a lot of guys sort of shorten their arms, which oftentimes is because people don't want to lift 3s and 4s, so they will make the lever arm shorter so they can lift a heavier weight. But in reality, you want the stimulus to be as high as possible on the muscle with the least wear and tear on the joints. So that means like lifting the lightest weight that you can in the poorest position, like leverage position that targets the muscles, is the best way forward. But trying to get that into young guys' heads is, it's just not going to work. So, I mean, if you can, then awesome, but most people are just not going to get it because they want to lift heavy weights. Yeah, that's cooked. Okay. Let's see what we got. So, again, a little bit of bump, little bit of bump, little bit of the bump. The bump. That's what we're all here for, eh? So yeah, making these YouTube videos is going to be for a bit of accountability in my training, more than anything. I don't think that anyone's really going to be that interested in a 33-year-old man in his garage lifting really mediocre weights. But you're all listening to this, and yeah, like you're starting your lifting journey, then just know that it takes a shit ton of time to build any muscle, unless you're willing to be naughty and go the dark side, which I've got nothing against. Okay, what are we going to go next? Do you know, I don't know what the 8s are, so we're going to go 15, so it seems a bit of a jump from 4s, but you see what I mean? The form just starts to get a little bit looser, and you tend to notice, oh my god, that the moment arm has to get shorter, because keep it these straight all the way through, until I feel upper back start kicking in, start using this hip, so it's a little bit better bend and shorten the arms, but understand if you did have lighter weights, you could use lighter weights and make the form a little bit tougher. You wouldn't have to deal with probably more wear and tear on the joints and more fatigue in areas that you don't really want it when you're training your medial delts. So it's just something I'm going to have to put up with here. One more. Oh, yeah. We're going back down. So it's 5 sets. That's 3. I don't know why I feel the need to get these out, but otherwise, the bulk t-shirt is just, there's just nothing. There's just nothing. There's nothing with the sleeves down. And if you've got any bodybuilder in you, you want to see what you're working with. So let's see what we got. So set 4, back down to the 4s, and then finishing off on the little itty bitty 3s. Well, that's it. Now these feel super light. For the last set, before we get into some real work, I say real work, but I mean the meat and potatoes, the actual hard stuff today, which is the legs. The reason I like doing the little itty-bitty stuff at the start is because there isn't really, although I'm breathing like an elephant here, there isn't that much fatigue. So it doesn't kind of detract from the rest of the session. Whereas if you do your little itty-bitty stuff at the end, which I used to do, you tend to find that you're so gassed from doing the big movements that it really ruins the quality of the work that you do on the little itty-bitty movements, especially if those are areas that you want to bring up and you want to work on. So there's my top tip, do the little itty-bitty stuff first, maybe not all of it. If you put too much before the big stuff, then you might find your training motivation's dropped and it's really hard to get yourself amped up for some heavy squats. A couple of movements, so I seem to be able to get away with. So let's do these 3s. Extra cardio from talking while doing this. Well, these are feeling pretty easy today, so I'm going to add a middle pause for 10 more. 1, 2, 3. Oh, shit. Yeah. 4, 5, 6. 7. Last one. Yeah, they're cooked. So that's where we're at. Calves and medial delts done. calves. A bit of calves, a bit of delts. And now I'm going to just throw all this stuff away because it's time to do some legs. So we are going to be doing the high bar back squat. Got 5 sets of 8. And then it's 3 sets of 10 on split squats, and then 4 sets of 8 on remaining deadlifts. So yeah, it's a lot of work. It's kind of scaring me thinking about it, but let's get to it. Oh, the warm-up weight's here already. Now this bar is a 15 kilo bar. So yeah, like the weights are actually lighter than they look. I shouldn't have said that though. I should have said the bar's 25, but it's 15. So we're starting off 35. Just get in, do a little bit of warming up, hit the legs. I don't know if I should move this camera. We'll leave it here. Let's move it. Let's give you a different view of the gorgeousness of this establishment. Okay, so let's get after it. So we are doing a little warm-up set. We're not going to count this one. This is a throwaway. And then we'll count the next one. Oh, you ain't going to be able to see these squats. I'm going to have to move that camera. First set, throwaway set. Just get warmed up. Now the good thing is I've hit my calves a little bit. So mobility through the ankle should be nice. Oh, but there's a little bit crunchy. That's getting into your 30s. Like you just start to feel that things, joints especially, don't recover at the same rate as they do when you're in your teens and your 20s. You just sort of bounce back the next day. You just carry fatigue for a little bit longer. So fatigue management becomes so important in your training, knowing when to sort of take your time warming up, or reduce the amount of loads you're using, or adjust your technique sometimes if something's feeling a little bit rickety and just staying away from it. Left things. So 105, 8 reps, set 2, and then we've got 3 more sets. Now, when it comes to legs, I do think that the squat is the daddy, but I also do like trying to improve my powerlifting tools, so the bench, squat, and deadlift, and I've always consistently tried to do that. So that probably has a little bit of bias. I just like the power lifts. But I do feel that you get a lot for the investment of learning how to squat properly, and the stimulus for your legs, like all over from a squat, is awesome. And I feel, because I'm long, tall, and Sally, pretty sure my sister used to bar clothes, because I have this big range of motion, then I'm sort of taking advantage of the fact that I've got to travel really far. It puts some meat on the old bones. I have fluttered and used leg press and different machines back and forward, but the cornerstone of my quad work anyway has always been back squatting, and high bar squatting as well, just because I think the low bar squat, you start to cut the range of motion, don't tend to be able to go as deep in a low bar squat, and you start to use more glute and lower back. And for me, the squat is more of a front of the leg movement, and I can pick that up with the deadlift. Cool, let's get to it. Set of 8. We'll see how this goes. Feel heavy today. legs. Whew, still feeling it from Friday. Worst bodybuilding genes that you can have. Tall man, long limbs, with, on the short side, muscle bellies. So you've got big frame to fill out. Number two, you've got long limbs, which makes the big frame even more difficult to fill out, because you're not just having to fill out for the height, you have to fill out for the length as well. And then add shorter muscle bellies. So muscle bellies that don't go all the way down, so like the biceps here, everything's a little bit shorter. But, you can fill it out. I think I've filled some of mine out, when I tense. If I tense, it looks like there's something going on. But yeah, tall man problems. Tall, skinny, natty problems. But yeah, shorter muscle bellies with those long levers, big frame. For like getting in sort of bodybuilding shape, hard work. And yeah, it just takes time to even look like you lift. Like, I don't think I looked like I went to a gym until I've been training for probably like 5 years. And it's all because my training was sucky. At sports science at uni, completely geeked out. Probably geeked out more than most people because it sucked so hard to try and fill the frame out. But yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to avoid doing this next set. So, skateboard, foot on it, foot forward, in here, hands out in front, drop deep, have a little moment, drive up. And I've tried setting the bar up, setting the bar on it, wrapping foam around it. Tried boxes. This is honestly, for me, this has been the boy for getting a consistent position. It feels good. It feels like all the weight is in the front leg. Again, if you're holding on to things, make sure that you're just using them for guidance, stability. Try not to hold and lift, because then you're just going to rob the muscles of the work, which is not what you want. Alright, last and final set of quadusks. Quadusks. Cha. Let's do it. Let's do it. Got to lift the weights. It's good for you. I'm gonna go back on the 8. Oh, I'm staying on the baby weights today. Good form baby weights. That's where it's at today. It's one of them days. Where are you going, skateboard? Yeah, that'll do. And one more. Another leg. Sweat is real. Sweaty, sweaty, sweaty. Sweaty, sweaty. Oh. 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 Come on, come back to me, breath. Come back, Jack, come back. Come back, Jack. Right. Last one. And these god awful squats. Let's go with this. It does happen from time to time, but it's okay. I'll reset you up. Back to work. Now I'm forgetting where I was. Two more. Oh, nice. Ta-da! Then we've got 4 working sets. 8 reps is around about the target. Catch my breath, and then I will get the first few done. The deadlift's pretty much, we'll go with pretty much my favourite movement. Favourite thing to train is shoulders. Favourite movement to do is deadlift. I don't really like training deadlift. It's not fun to train, as in when you're doing volume PBs to try and get a new PB. It's horrid. Because it's brutal on your lower back. But when it comes to getting a PB, the one that feels nice is the deadlift. And in terms of doing volume PBs on any big move, I like deadlift the most. Even though bench press is nicer, it feels nicer, doing the volume training for it. Just something great about lifting stuff off the floor. Feels badass. And also I handle the heaviest weights on it, so I feel pretty strong. I think everyone probably likes it for that reason. Apart from if you are part of the short arm, like the alligator arm club, where it just turns into like a lower back movement more than it already is, and then your lower back just gets beat the shit out of. Anyway, let's get into it. Mainly deadlifts. So key pointers, I'll go over them after I've done this warm up. That felt good. I'll stretch on the hammies. When it comes to remaining deadlift, key pointer is you want to try and make the prime mover the glutes and hamstrings by loading them up. People used to say this to me all the time. I didn't really know what they were talking about, because as soon as you naturally go to do this, you just feel as if it's all going into your spine, and you are going to feel your lower back working. There's no way to avoid it. The load is going to place some strain on your lower back, but you don't want that to be the primary mover. It's just providing stability. So like in the squat, when you're squatting, you're going to feel tension on your upper back through your torso. You're going to feel this area of your body's working, right? But it's like an isometric contraction to stay tight and just to support the movement. When you're squatting, like none of this is moving to move the squat. You know, you're tight here, you're rigid, it stays that way. You come down and it's just through the legs. Same on the remaining deadlift. This is staying tight. None of this shit is moving, alright? Well, it is moving. It's moving through the range of motion. Well, I mean, this here is what's doing the active moving. So you're not actively moving with the lower back. You're actively moving through driving the hips forward, squeezing the bum, and using the hamstrings to pull back into this position. So if you practice loading up the hamstrings and just pulling and squeezing your glutes, and go through that motion and then take that onto a lightweight practice, firing the muscles in that pattern, and then start loading up deadlifts, you'll see a significant difference than if you just keep loading up your deadlifts and not understanding how to do that. Now, it's unavoidable you're going to put some load on the hamstrings and the glutes just doing this movement. Like, those muscles are going to fire, but the better quality the movement, in my opinion, the better quality the load dispersion. Okay, the load is dispersed on the areas that you want it to go. So if we take main deadlift, if it looks like a lower back janky pull, okay, and this is all moving, everyone's fucking, there's going to be more load dispersed through those areas that are moving and making the quality of the movement less. There's going to be some tension put onto those muscles, and that tension might be robbing away from the intended muscles, I think, which in the remaining deadlift is the glutes and the hamstrings. Hopefully that makes sense. Then we'll get a little drop down set. Five will do it. 2 drop down sets at 1, 2, 5. And we're calling it a day for legs. So here we go. Quads, calves, hamstrings. Bit medial delts. Done. Well, I'm not done. 2 more sets to do. Legs, finished. Bit medial delts. And yes, taps off. At the end of every video, like my inspiration from young Sam, so like, I am going to do a little physique check. See what's happening. So, this is us. I would say 223 pounds, stone, 16 stone, something like that. 6'3". Maybe 6'2" after I've done all the leg work. But yeah, so legs after the session. Where we're at, I'm hoping some point to get back on the bodybuilding stage. I did do one competition, 2017 men's physique, and I'm hoping the next time go and do bodybuilding. But I knew at the time I just didn't have the legs to get up on the stage, and I just didn't feel like it was the right time. But I wanted to test myself out. Just what I talked about earlier, like, you need to fill the frame out. It's going to take years. So this is what we've got so far. That's a wrap. Hopefully you have enjoyed this training video. And yeah, there's going to be more. I'm going to try and do one every week. I'm just going to change and rotate the training day that I do. Hopefully there's little tidbits, little bits that you can learn from it. And I'll see you in the next video. Catch you there. Oh, and don't forget to hit the subscribe if you want to see more. Ciao.